what are you currently doing for English? Like before me, there are other people who would have given you some suggestions for English, something to do every day. So are you doing something?
This sometime I do, but not always. Sometimes I read the book. I watch English video, grammar video, something. Sometime, but not always. Yeah.
Okay, but obviously you're getting a lot of practice talking in English because all the people there you will be interacting with, you will have to talk in English. Or is there any other language also for communication?
In my company, first language is English and another Hindi.
Mhm.
So another
Hindi?
because yeah, Hindi also. In my
Do people
company,
speak Hindi there?
approx in my company like Indian. So that's why like we talk Hindi also. And another country like Nepal or Pakistan or Bangladesh. These are the people also speak Hindi because
Okay.
here first language Arabic, second English, and third you can say Hindi.
Okay.
Bangladeshi people also they speak Hindi with us, and Pakistani also and Nepali also they speak with us only Hindi. So you can say like third language is Hindi.
Hindi. In
Yeah.
India,
So I
everybody
have
is dying to learn English, and everybody is like, no, we don't want to speak in Hindi, and other places people are talking in Hindi. Like, what is this?
I have one question like when you communication with your opposite person, so grammar is important or not? Because I saw lots of video or lots of people they when they talk to opposite person or any person, so
Hmm.
like they don't care about the grammar. They don't care about the grammar. Okay, some places they use, some places they don't. So is it important or not?
It's not that they do not care about grammar. It is probably that they haven't mastered grammar yet. Okay, because
Hmm.
obviously if I'm talking to you in any language, even if in Hindi, and I'm
Hmm.
using the wrong grammar,
Hmm.
sometimes you will not be able to understand what I'm trying to speak to you, because if I'm using the wrong grammar, then the
Hmm.
meaning will differ, obviously, right? You will have to put in a little more effort to understand what I'm trying to speak. So grammar obviously is important for any language when you talk in that language. But what if we haven't mastered that level of grammar? We know the words, we are stringing together words. Now grammar is
Hmm.
not happening, because initially what happens is, if I start speaking in a new language, what will
Hmm.
I do? First, I'll learn the words. Then I'll learn a few sentences. Grammar comes a little later when you tend to understand, okay, this is the way the sentence is to be spoken to this person. And if I am talking to another person, or I'm talking about a previous time, then this is how the sentence will change. Now, that change is basically grammar. But if you haven't mastered it, then obviously you will not know how to speak it. So it's not that they do not worry about it, it's just that they haven't mastered it yet. So whatever grammar is coming to their head, they're using it. Okay, because
Yeah, yeah,
grammar
absolutely.
takes a little longer time to build than vocabulary.
Yeah, yeah, because like without grammar you cannot make right sentence.
Hmm.
Like a small things that's okay because like preposition or something is it like that's okay, but like without grammar you cannot make right sentence like present simple or continuous or past or something, you cannot make right sentence. So grammar I think it is important,
It is
but
important, because that's what
small.
I'm saying. If you're using the wrong grammar, how will the other person understand you? They'll have to put in more effort to understand what you're trying to say if you're using the wrong grammar.
That's really beautiful answer. Okay, so like my second question, what is the key of learning English?
Okay. The thing is, you cannot learn any language in silos. What currently people are doing is, they'll pick up one
Mhm.
grammar book, okay, and they'll read the grammar from there. They understand what different tenses are, what the verbs are, what pronouns are. You are able to understand there in the book with their sentences which are related to that book. But how do you translate all that knowledge to your communication? Okay, that is actually the
Yeah,
key to it. It's not about reading a book. Okay, like you have to learn driving. No matter how many manuals you learn about driving, until and unless you sit behind the wheel and you try,
yeah,
you cannot learn driving. Similarly, no matter how many English books you read, you will not be able to understand grammar until and unless you talk. Okay, first thing. Now what people do is they pick up a vocabulary book and they are learning new words from there. Okay, but every word has different connotations. Like, you know the meaning of mind, right? You know, this is our mind. We think from our
yeah,
mind. But there is a different connotation as well. Like, if I want to tell you that be careful about something here on the wall, you may bang your head. So what will I say? Mind your head. If there is a stone in front of you while you're walking,
yeah,
what will I say? I'll say mind your step, right? So this
yeah,
is
yeah,
another way of using mind. So it's not about how much vocabulary you know. It's about if you know where all you can use the same simple word. Mind is not a very difficult word. Mind is not a word that most of the people would not know. Mostly would know the meaning of mind, but they would not know that here also the word can be used. Or they would have heard the sentence, but when it comes to talking, this sentence would not hit their mind. It will not come in their mind that they have to use it this way as well. So basically, what people do is they are learning grammar in silos, they are learning vocabulary in silos, and then they're trying to put it together and then talk, which doesn't happen. Every word has, every sentence we speak in any language, it has its grammar, and there are words that the vocabulary that's making that sentence. So it's not about reading different books, it's practicing. Okay, and how?
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. You are right because like English, it is not a book. It is like a language, not a book. Like just you remember all the things and just like you have to give a speech. It is like just like a language. How much you will practice, that much you can achieve. And practice is really very important. Without practice in your practical life, you cannot do anything. You cannot learn, you cannot talk to your opposite person.
You cannot even make
Whatever,
a
like,
good pastry without practice, because
yeah,
you
yeah,
have to know
absolutely.
what will happen if this goes extra and this goes less, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like there are also help process. Like for example, if you wanted to make muffins, so first like what you have to put, then after what you have to put. So you have to follow method one by one. You have to follow method. Then you will make your muffins. Yeah. So because if you will put first one last one fast, so maybe it would be not good. Not good because maybe it will be wrong or something. So you have to follow method one by one. So same thing also English. Like in English, you have to follow method if you want to learn English. So like words and sentence. You have to make sentence word grammar. So you have to learn one everything. So these are the things. And practice is really very important. Yeah.
Yes, so you have another question,
So
or should I help
yeah,
you?
okay. Yeah, no, no, don't have. Okay, so like, did you face any problem when you started to learn English?
When I started to learn English, okay.
Yeah.
um Rather than giving you my example, I should give you my husband's example, because I started learning English when I was in a school. Like, I
Okay.
was always the child who used to take part in elocutions, debates, and all those things. So when I
Mm-hmm.
started learning English when I was probably 4, 5, 6 years of age, that time I do not even remember how I learned the language. But I can give you an example of my husband. He was also from convent schools, from a
Mm-hmm.
convent school. But boys being boys, he never thought about English in that manner. He used
Okay.
to enjoy in Hindi, and even if he's fined, he was like, do hell with
Mm-hmm.
it. I am not interested. So he never spoke in English in school. And then probably when it came to college and when it came to
Mm-hmm.
job, he understood that now he has to uh, put on his socks and he has to work on English. So what he did was he started reading newspaper. The first thing,
Mm-hmm.
reading newspaper
Mm-hmm.
aloud to himself, because that time we did not have internet. But if you have internet, if you have all these things with you, what I would
Mm-hmm.
suggest to you is listen to a lot of English. Okay, because you have
Okay.
to train your ears to good English. The way you learn Hindi or any of your mother tongue, does your did your parents when you were a kid teach you anything about your mother tongue grammar of your mother tongue?
No, no.
But you still talked well, probably well without grammar. You knew that
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
not sounding correct, this is sounding correct, without having to
yeah.
think of grammar.
Like my mom and dad, like they didn't teach everything, but just I listen from people or environment. So then whatever they ask, any kind of questions, I answer like without any thinking. Just I answer on the
Basically,
spot.
because your ears are telling you this is sounding right, this is not sounding right. If it's not sounding right, rather than thinking that this is a tense mistake or a pronoun mistake, you just make another sentence, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So, this is what is spoken English. Listen to a lot of English and talk to yourself in English. Whatever you're doing around the house, summarize your day before going to sleep in English. Whatever you're doing, because we have this mental chatter going on all the time. I am not good enough. I have to do this. I am very good at this. My boss is very bad. He is a bad chap. So, why do it all in Hindi? Do it in English with yourself. Even if you're going wrong grammatically currently, this will give you confidence. At least you will know how your voice sounds in English. You will figure out the basic sentences which are used in conversation with other people. And then, since you're listening to a lot of language, your grammar will automatically correct itself.
actually, like what happened with me, like some some month ago some
Mhm.
month ago, like before I was thinking in Hindi, so automatically whatever I will answer any person, so it comes it came with me in Hindi. But when I started to thinking in English, so right now, like if someone they will ask any kind of question, so suddenly it comes in English. So because right now I'm thinking all everything is English, so like that's why it's happening with me.
Yes, and right now also while you were talking, first you said come, then you understood that this is not sounding correct. It's wrong here, and you said came. So that is what is it all about. Once your ears
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
you
yeah.
that this is sounding right, this is not sounding right, you do not need